ナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツ高原義に異人無国行善妙無用当社日月間に主公園よ開始のんぺい有脈樹木如来有限小生無輪小学大音コールジポ開門精進三昧知恵意徳無量修正形人体前年小仏崩壊愚人人の不合外体無明欲ぬ世尊読む人のしし人徳無量空君広大知恵人妙光明一層神道大仙願が差仏最小法可動生じ未不下脱不正上位大人精進如是三昧知恵以上五世特仏不行志願一切空空一切大安決し有仏約千億万無量大小修行語者供養一切死等諸仏不尿愚道見性不客非尿語者小仏世界無不可け無種節道光明師匠変死小国行税精進異人難量量が差仏国土第一公衆奇妙道場超絶国如内音二無闘争がと愛民道達二歳自法来所新年少女 糸が国経楽安穏公文神妙是が心象本願の日力小小欲自ポセソン知恵無下上領子孫知が信用軽量心知食毒中が行精進人寿不敬ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがんにしくどく平等聖祭道本菩提心お上Namandats, namandats, 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 namandats. Please join me in Gasho. Namandats. The Bodhisattva, Maitreya, must pass 5,670,000,000 years before attaining Buddhahood. But the person who realizes true Shinjin will attain enlightenment with the end of this life. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namandats, 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 namandats. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's first Sunday service in March. I hope everyone is doing well. Well, it looks like the days are getting a little bit sunnier, which is nice outside. Spring is just around the corner, and I think all of us are still very eager to get outside and return back to normal. We're on our way. We are definitely on our way, but unfortunately, we are not there yet. So until we are able to get back to normal, please continue to take caution. Try not to travel so much. Do all of the cleaning procedures, sanitizing procedures. Of course, continue to wear masks, all of these things. These things will continue to ensure, or at least help, in the fight against the COVID-19 virus. And then, of course, when your time comes and when it becomes available to you, I highly encourage all of you to get the COVID-19 vaccine. So both doses, or the Johnson & Johnson one. Let's just hope that whichever one is available to you, you will take. So we did not meet last weekend because the temple board and everyone else were kind of encouraged to watch the Eitaikyo Perpetual Memorial Service that was done by the National Council. And the guest speaker was Reverend Koro Umezu. And the great thing about living in the technological age that we live in now is that if you missed it, you can definitely go to the BCA YouTube page and watch it. I think this is something that we now in the modern age take for granted. And not that we shouldn't enjoy it, but I just have to, again, realize that the teachers who came before us, the teachers who came before me, especially in Shinran Shonin's time, and even the time before him with the Buddha, the legend has it that Ananda was the one who recited all of the Buddha sutras from memory, right? From rote memory, from pure memory. And it was something that I can't really conceive now. Now, of course, there are people who can do this. There are gifted people. There are people who have that ability to listen to something and then just repeat it like that. I'm definitely not one of those people. I have to read things again and again and again. I have to watch things again and again and again. But the National Council, this was my first National Council that I attended as an aspiring Kaikyoshi minister. So I've been to some national councils before as sort of a volunteer, as a person who helped take minutes, or as a person who helped draft a resolution on the board to be voted on, right? But this was my first time as an aspiring Kaikyoshi minister. And I don't know about the rest of you who attended, but personally for me, there were times I got very, very frustrated. I got very upset. The politics of it all just really got to me. And I was in a great state of stress thinking about a lot of the decisions that were made. And again, of course, I liked a lot of the decisions that were made, and there were some I didn't like. And I think this is, again, congruent with how Shinran Shonin kind of views us. Makes me wonder if Shinran Shonin could come back or could actually time travel to this time. Makes me really wonder what he would say watching a bunch of us sitting in this gigantic room, or even online, right? Squabbling about this or that, or coming to some type of trying to come to some type of decision, or voting on this or voting on that. Sometimes I think Shinran would come back and, kind of scoff at us and just say, it's all about the Nembutsu. But in other ways, I feel like Shinran would also understand, because Shinran was all too aware of the human condition. Shinran was all too aware that humans, people, us, or Bombu, ordinary beings with countless kleshas or hang-ups that we can't rid ourselves, right? This is how we operate. We operate out of total self-interest. We operate out of total me-first kind of mode, and our territory versus your territory. This is kind of how we operate. So on the one hand, I think he would scoff at us, but then on the other hand, I think he would also be compassionate as well. But this has, I think this is why I wanted to bring up this particular gosandai or a quote. And it's from Shinran Shonin's Hymns of the Dharma Ages. And there's a bit of context to this one here. First off, for those of you who do not know, Bodhisattva Maitreya, there's some actually famous pictures of Maitreya. I'll probably post one up on the YouTube page so you can see what Maitreya looks like. But for those of you who do not know, Bodhisattva Maitreya is the current Bodhisattva who's probably training in the Tushta heavens right now, who is going to be the next Buddha of this world. Okay, there's going to be the next Buddha who comes to this world to once again bring us the message of enlightenment, the message of the Dharma, purely as it is. Okay, so that's who Bodhisattva Maitreya is. And actually, Maitreya does make an appearance in the larger sutra. Maitreya had to come to this world, according to the sutra, Maitreya had to come to this world to listen to the larger sutra because it was so important and because the current Buddha needed to relay this message to Maitreya. But I think one of the things that we see here, and there's a bit more context to this as well, is that first off, it's going to be a long time before Maitreya comes to this world and once again frees us, right? And it's interesting to see how this story kind of lines up with, in a sense, like Christianity or with Judaism or the Abrahamic religions, right? When the Messiah comes back again. It's very interesting how this happens. But I think one of the things that Shinran is trying to tell us in this particular passage, Bodhisattva Maitreya must pass 5,670,000,000 years before attaining Buddhahood, before like becoming a fully awakened Buddha, right? What Shinran's basically trying to say is this isn't going to happen in our lifetime, okay? And in more context, the previous wasans, Shinran talks about the people of this age and kind of how we sort of squabble. And this is why I brought up, sometimes like National Council, or when we have these big old political gatherings, right? We start getting into arguments about what's right and the direction that the BCA should go, right? We get into these like arguments because we are coming from the standpoint that what we're saying is right and what I think is right. And this is how things should be, right? So Shinran details this in the Shozo Matsu Wasan, or the hymns or the Wasan of the Dharma ages, okay? He kind of talks about these people, and again, I don't want to say necessarily in a pessimistic or even like nihilistic sense, but in a realistic sense, right? Because we have to be honest about who we are, what we're about, and as a purely human being, as just purely human being as I am right now, I operate on me first, and that I live in this sense of ego, right? That's who we all are. That's me. That's why I got so angry, or that's why I got so upset during the council at sometimes. But that's who we are. That's how we are, and we are Buddhists. So therefore, the ultimate goal is enlightenment. Sure, yes. Now, as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, we kind of, again, recognize that us alone, just as we are, with the karma that we have received from millions and countless kalpas past, right, where we are today, we cannot hope to achieve the ultimate awakening by ourselves. We cannot hope to achieve ultimate enlightenment just by our own doing, right? So our members, I don't say that you shouldn't explore other Buddhist traditions or explore different philosophies in Buddhism, right? A lot of our members seem to have this fascination with Zen Buddhism, and I'm okay with that. Totally fine to read into the philosophies of Dogen. I've done so myself, and I've liked a lot of the things that he has to say. But coming back to Jodo Shinshu, and as a person who does claim to be Jodo Shinshu, right, as I am a person who claims to be a Jodo Shinshu priest, right, I could partake in Zazen. I could partake in meditation retreats. I could do all of these things. I could even probably do, and no, I probably really couldn't, I could probably do the Sennichi Kaihogyo. And I watch these documentaries about these monks who travel around Hiezan 1,000 times, and it's this 11-year commitment, right? And I'm like, whoa, and when they're done, they're supposed to be fully awakened beings, right? So even if I did the motions, even if I did all of that, right, I still would not be a fully awakened being. I still would be a bonbu. I would still be this being, really, trying to, clasp and grasp at, like, this idea of me and I'm always right. Okay, so why did I bring up this Gosandai again? Because the person who realizes true Shinjin will attain enlightenment with the end of this life. Okay, so once again, Shinran kind of gives us the sense of urgency, right? We are living in this life right now, and because of the myriads of causes and conditions, we have been gifted. We have been, I don't want to say lucky, but we have been fortunate to be born and to be in a proximity at a time where we can actually listen to the teachings of Shinran Shonin and really digest the message of the 3 Pure Land Sutras, right? But listening and reading these things, right, is not enough, okay? So then we have to really ask ourselves is how much do we take these sutras to heart, right? How much do we rely on these sutras in our hearts? Okay, this is a question that we have to constantly ask each other. Okay, and I also don't want us to just think to ourselves, oh yeah, of course I have it, right? Oh yes, I have it, I'm done, right? I mean, maybe a person who says that, for all I know, they do. All I know is that this is a question and this is a thing that I have to really self-reflect on again and again and again, every single day. But the person who realizes true Shinjin will attain enlightenment with the end of this life. Okay, so what is it about this, right? So why does he even bring up Maitreya in the first place? Okay, so some of us, I mean, if we are in the school of thinking that, oh, well, I'll just keep getting reborn into this world, right? This idea of reincarnation. And again, I don't discount that theory, by the way, but constantly getting reborn, birth and death, birth and death. I'll just keep traversing all of the 6 realms of samsara. I'll just keep going through. I'll just wait until Maitreya comes and then I'm fully awakened, right? And it's interesting because for those of you who probably don't know, there are a couple of folks in this lifetime and in this world who kind of claim to be Maitreya. I don't know if it's true. But if we're going to go off of what Shinran says, and Shinran wrote this, right, about 700 years ago, so we still have a ways to go, okay? But, Maitreya is probably not going to be here in our lifetimes, right? Most likely, Maitreya is going to be way off into the distant future, way off into the distant future. So Shinran says, don't even think about, like, just waiting to be reborn until Maitreya comes and once again teaches us the Dharma purely as it is. Shinran's trying to tell us 2 things. Number 1, the time of the Buddha, the time where Shakyamuni could teach the right Dharma purely as it was, that's no more. That is no more, okay? We, unfortunately, cannot engage in practices, and we can try things out, but unfortunately, no matter what we do, we're always going to have those hang-ups with us, right? We won't be able to fully awaken. This is what it means, I think, to be a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist, which is why we must rely on Amida Buddha. And Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, saw this. Shakyamuni Buddha knew that this would happen. So what did Shakyamuni Buddha do? Shakyamuni Buddha expounded the 3 Pure Land Sutras to once again give us ordinary beings a sense of hope and access to the true and real Dharma in this lifetime, in this time as far as we are now from the Buddha. Okay, so in a sense, don't worry about, oh gosh, what am I going to be reborn as? Or, oh gosh, how many lifetimes is it going to take for me to get to the time where Maitreya can teach us the right Dharma? Shinran says, don't worry about that. Instead, worry about this life right now. Worry about relying on the sutras. Worry about how much these sutras, can teach us. in this lifetime, even now, in the small finite lifetime that we live, Amida Buddha is still, in the Pure Land, is still giving us wisdom and compassion in this lifetime right here and now. Okay? So Amida Buddha from the Pure Land in the West, okay, and this is, in a sense, figuratively speaking, but Amida Buddha still gives us wisdom and compassion from the Pure Land. Amida Buddha provides us a way, and in fact, according to Shinran, the only way to supreme enlightenment, to supreme awakening. Okay, so with that in mind, I would like for you all to once again realize, we are these ordinary beings. I am an ordinary being. I am just a person, right? I am just a person who is drowned in his own sense of ego, his own sense of self. This is who I am. But because of that, Amida Buddha embraces me. Amida Buddha went through 10 kalpas of hard practice in order to achieve the supreme awakening, in order for us to achieve the supreme awakening. So with that in mind, really just once again, when we get caught up in this, I know that when we meet as an organization, with BCA or even as a temple, right, it can be easy to get caught up on certain things like, about this budget or that budget, or this needs this and this needs that, right? All of those things. It's easy to get caught up on those things. I get caught up on those things because I'm a human. I do. When decisions were made that I didn't like, I got mad, right? But then I invite you all to once again come back to the fold, right? Come back to this. What is it that we're here for, right? Why are we here? And that is to spread the teachings and the wonderful words of Shinran Shonin. Why are we doing this? What is this all for? It is to once again let the world know of the ultimate wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. So with that in mind, please continue to say the Nembutsu with gratitude. So I would like to thank you all again for listening to my Dharma talk. Until we get into safer times, please wear masks, practice safe social distancing, try not to travel too much, wash your hands constantly. When you go to the grocery store, it's always nice to have a little bit of rubbing alcohol inside your car so you could just sanitize your hands as best as you can. Again, we still need to keep up all of these safe and social distance and all of these procedures in order to ensure that the numbers of people who are infected with COVID, that they go down. Okay, let's not contribute to another spike. So with that in mind, once again, stay safe, stay healthy, and most importantly, say the Nembutsu. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha, Namman Dots, Namman Dots, Namman Dots. To conclude this service, I would like to read Renyo Shonin's Gobunsho called Matsurai Muchi no Sho, or the Letter on the Latter Ages. Matdai muchi no zaike shiju no nanyo taran tomogara wa kokoro hitotsu ni shite Amida Buddha fukaku tanomimaerasute さらに世の方へ心を振らず、一心二意にぶ助けたまえともさん、主情は、たとえ在後は人獣なりとも、必ずみだ如来は救いましますべし。これすなわち第18の念仏往生の誓願の心なり。核のごとく献上しての上には寝ても覚めても命のあらん限りは。 称名念仏すべきものなり、あなかしこ、あなかしこ。